Hello folk, welcome to Street Gem. Today we are checking out the Canon EF lenses on the Fujifilm GFX bodies. Because there is not a complete guide about these lenses over the internet, out of the curiosity, wondering which full frame lenses will cover the full sensor area of the medium format sensors, and if they will work properly with the third-party adapters with autofocus and all. I went to some local dealers and tried every EF lens that piqued my interest. Well, we are using these lenses via the autofocus adapter branded as Viltrox, so please take under consideration that some will work on other third-party adapters and some will not. As we slap on the 50mm 1.2L version, first thing is that it has focus issues. Adapter works for changing the f-stops, so I focus manually for the test sake. Now we'll look at the shots. At 1.2 image is pretty soft, as expected. At 1.2 it gathers a bit more data. It gets a bit better as we stop it down. Around 2.8 we get to see real improvement, but the corners remain soft only. At f8 we see improvement on the corners. At f11 the diffraction starts to tune in. At 85mm f1.2L. It autofocuses. Surprise, surprise. Better than the 50L, but not perfect, so I will be focusing manually again. But as we look at the images, it is way sharper than the 50 version, and the corners get sharper as we stop down 5.6. EF 8 to 50mm f4L fisheye. As we put on the 8 to 50mm, as I suspected, on the widest end it gives us a small image almost as a keyhole effect, so I didn't see no point comparing the apertures. Rather fixed it to the 4.5 to show you the image coverage. Canon EF 24 to 105mm L f4 lens. At the 24mm, it again vignettes in a rectangular format, doesn't even cover the image circle for the X-Men shots. The image produced is pretty soft until the 42mm. Even then, the corners are pretty soft. As we pass the 75mm, image starts to come back. At the 100mm, performs the best in my opinion. EF 100mm macro f2.8. I am first getting the whole charts photograph, then moving for the macro capability. As you can see, it covers the whole sensor circle and is sharp from corner to the corner, even at f2.8, 4, 5.6 and f8. But due to lower shutter speed, there is, as I went macro into the test chart, we can see all the detail there is until f16. We lose the sharpness to the diffraction. '70 to 200mm version 1. Trying out every zoom range on this lens. It vignettes very slightly on the corners, and the image circle is sharp till we get to the extreme corners, and it improves as we stop it down. As we zoom in to 78mm, image appears sharper, but with more vignetting at the corners. At 100mm, the corner chops are still there, but the image looks even tidier. As we stop it down, I think GFX picks up the diffraction even at f6.5 on this lens. 150mm, it is even softer. At 175, it has focus issues. At 200mm, the lens's macro sensors kicked in and the lens focuses, and it is pretty good in the middle, but I cannot say the same about the rest of the image. 70 to 300mm, f4 to 5.6 L IS USM. Close focusability of this lens isn't that good. It was such a hustle get it done in such a tight place, but I think I got it. At 70mm, image shows softer on the right side, but I think the paper was bent there, and looking at the left side, it is pretty sharp until the corner. At 150mm, middles of the image is pretty sharp, yet the corners are softer again. At 200mm, image seems to tighten up, and corner sharpness is getting better again. It gets softer until the 250mm and then gets sharper. I think at 300mm, we get the best image quality overall. Just like the previous lens, we get a sharper image as we zoom into the tightest end. Only the extreme corners remain soft. Now we are passing to the third-party lenses for the EF mount. Tamron 35 to 150mm, f2.8 to 4, DI-VC OSD. At the widest focal length, we can focus the keyhole effect, but the image quality seems okay until the corners. As we zoom into the 42mm, we can see the corners get sharper than the middle of the image, which is strange, but it fixes itself at 55mm. We get a bit vignette, but the image seems sharp line. At 75mm, it is softer and improves at 185mm. At 100mm, this can be one of the worst lenses we tried here. At 135, it improves, but not by far. But at 150mm, it produces pretty good images again. EF 16 to 35. As usual, at the widest angle we get the hole, and it is pretty soft. And as you can see, it gets a bit more bearable at the 35mm, image quality wise. EFVPE 65 macro lens. This lens had no auto, so I had to do it manually. As you can see, the image circle isn't that good, neither the sharpness. So I would just go with the 100mm macro f2.8 L lens if I needed to do macro photography. And for the last but not the least, 50mm f1.8 version 2.
Yarın git sokakta çalış git.
Allah Allah.
Orası şeyi orada çalışıyor ya.
The Nifty 50. I actually have done a review on the first version of this lens, but it had focus issues. So let's see how this one performs. At f1.8, image is bearable, not sharp, but alright. At f2.8, middle gets pretty sharp, but the corners remain softer. At 4.5, we get a pretty sharp image until the extreme corners. At 6.3, we get corners defined and the middle even sharper. At f8, we reach the perfection, almost. Well, this lens being so cheap and small, I actually purchased this one. And as I was walking back home, I wanted to give it a try. And here are the images. So thank you for watching, guys. I hope this was helpful. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Goodbye.